If your operations rely on styrenics, the clock is actively running out. We are tracking a severe pricing shift targeting the third week of July 2026, and your window to prepare is closing. This intelligence comes directly from Polymer Bazaar. Their entire framework is built on a very specific premise. Early intelligence allows buyers to sidestep losses that catch the rest of the industry off guard. The model is straightforward. You take raw price data, apply predictive forecasting, and translate that gap in time into direct operational profit. Right now, that forecasting points to a sharp spike. The data indicates that GPPS and HPPS prices are about to jump by a margin of 2 to 4 rupees per kilogram. This hike will hit the domestic Indian bazaar as early as this coming Monday. This creates an immediate dilemma for procurement managers. You have a definitive deadline. You must look at your current inventory and make a hard buy or hold decision right now before the weekend closes. To understand why Monday is the breaking point, we have to trace the pressure back to its source in the global macroeconomic indicators. The primary catalyst driving this shift is currency. A continually strengthening US dollar is applying severe upward pressure across the board. This flowchart maps out exactly how that pressure moves. The rising US dollar restricts global raw material availability, and that constrained supply flows directly into a tight bottleneck in the domestic Indian bazaar. Local suppliers cannot absorb these global costs indefinitely. When the foreign exchange and supply pressures hit their limit, the domestic pricing structure breaks, forcing the immediate hikes we expect next week. If you ignore these indicators, your operations remain simple. You maintain your scheduled procurement cycle, your warehousing stays predictable, and you face zero logistical disruption today. But that operational piece carries a heavy cost. Running a blind supply chain leaves your margins completely exposed. When unpredicted raw material hikes inevitably land, they will erode your quarterly profits overnight. In commodity trading, the value of intel degrades by the hour. This introduces a concept known as information velocity, the exact speed at which actionable data reaches the person writing the checks. Polymer Bazaar optimizes this velocity by bypassing the inbox entirely. Texting the word prediction to their WhatsApp broadcast, buyers receive localized alerts instantly on their phones. The advantage is absolute proximity. You bypass the friction of newsletters and trade publications, putting real-time pricing data directly into the hands of decision makers the second a trend is verified. However, there is a psychological trade-off. Constant, instant alerts create a high-pressure environment. Your phone buzzes, and you are suddenly tasked with making split-second financial reactions to every shift in the bazaar. If your team isn't disciplined, that high-velocity information degrades your procurement strategy. Scheduled buying gets replaced by reactive, panic-driven habits where every alert feels like an emergency. Securing a warning before your competitors is technically an advantage, but it is ultimately useless if it generates operational chaos on your floor rather than providing structured, actionable leverage. Let's look at the hard mathematics to see if acting on this new prediction actually justifies changing your behavior today. This comparison matrix illustrates the baseline capital across volume tiers. We'll isolate a standard 20-ton order of hips. If the buyer waits until Monday and absorbs the maximum hike, the matrix shows the penalty of inaction. That order costs an extra 80,000 rupees. Conversely, if the buyer preempts the bazaar today, they lock in an 80,000 rupee gross savings opportunity. But those savings exist only on paper. Executing a pre-buy introduces hidden logistical and capital costs that chip away at that 80,000 rupee margin. To capture the savings, your business must immediately drain a massive amount of liquid working capital to pay for material you weren't scheduled to buy until next week or next month. Then the trucks arrive. You now have unexpected inventory bloat, forcing you to absorb early warehousing fees and disrupting your floor space. If your cash flow is tight, the interest on borrowed capital and the stress of storing early inventory completely negates the absolute savings of the material itself. Early bazaar intel only provides value if a company has the operational agility to act on it. This quadrant chart maps out where you stand. The vertical axis measures margin sensitivity, and the horizontal axis measures capital agility, meaning available cash flow. In the bottom left, we have SME procurement managers and small batch buyers who lack deep, immediate cash reserves. If you fall into this profile, you must avoid prediction-based buying. The minor absolute savings on a small order do not justify the cash flow risk and operational stress. Stick to your scheduled purchasing cycle. In the top right are the high-volume Styrenics converters who possess highly liquid capital. For these buyers, utilizing instant alerts is mandatory. At high volumes, a shift of just 2 rupees per kilogram heavily dictates quarterly profits. Monday pre-buys are a standard requirement for survival. Operating in this high agility tier means maintaining a procurement department that is culturally and financially prepared to pivot quickly without causing a logistical pileup. Leveraging instant bazaar forecasts requires a specific level of capital agility to transform a prediction into actual profit.